Hey, Baddie Rewrite. Happy New Year's.
Happy New Year, everyone. We are so thankful for all of your support and all of your love, and we are wishing you all the best, baddiest year.
Okay, this is the Baddie Rewrite, and this is all about rewriting the rules and rewriting your blueprint. So, what does your blueprint look like for 2026? Let's go.
Well, hello there, beautiful.
Hello.
And welcome back to Baddie Rewrite. All right, what's going on today, Amber?
Well, I can handle everything,
Okay.
but I don't want to. Well, don't you feel like that sometimes?
I love it. Yes. No, I feel like that's literally the current theme of every strong, ambitious woman is I'm exhausted or
All the time.
burnout. Yeah.
Yes. It's like all day, every day. You have to be on like all the time. Work, home, kids, husbands, everything.
Yes.
So what do you do?
I kind of feel like it seems like a trap setup kind of, right? Because like back in like 2010s, there was like this whole epidemic of boss women and girl boss, all of that stuff. But I think what was lacking or what was missing in that concept was structure also, and how do you not become burnt out? And a lot of women are like, okay, if I'm a boss baddie or I'm a boss in a certain area, then I have to take it all on and I have to do all of this. But I think what we missed in that era was support and having support and understanding when it's okay to have that support.
Darling.
I feel like even I've learned that a lot, like big lessons like that in business, specifically when you are working with businesses, you see the structure, support. And it's so crazy to me how like us women, we get into relationships or families and we somehow miss the element of bringing in support and structure and roles and whose role is what, because a lot of us women kind of take on every role because we feel like we have to, but we don't. And that's a lie that we're all telling ourselves.
Yeah, and I mean that's part of the thing is we're all running in that survival mode. Especially you and I have both been single mothers. And who do you have? Do you feel comfortable asking somebody else for any help? Delegating, doing all of those things. No, you're operating in survival mode.
Yeah.
And you feel like you don't have anybody else to lean upon, and you don't know about any systems. You don't know about emotional intelligence. I mean, I honestly feel like I just learned about this a couple years ago. And when you're running in that survival mode and you're doing everything, and then, you are just at the end of the night, you just crash.
I feel like for a long time, just with women, we've been kind of like teaching or really championing that exhaustion's empower.
Yes.
And that has been the running thing. But come on, ladies, it's time to wake up. Exhaustion is not empowerment. Support, structure, uh, delegating roles and knowing who your role is was in the family and letting go of that control, I feel like also.
Yes.
But you brought up a good point. You and I both have been single moms at some point in our lives. And I've even experienced friends and family members that are single married women, single long married women, where they're doing everything. I just saw a real recent one where the mom's kid or the baby fell on the floor at a restaurant. The dad looks over, he has French fries in his hand, and he was like, stands up and he's like, oh no. The mom has a baby in her hand, jumps out of her seat with the baby, and is like, picking up this other child and she's like, oh my God, grabbing napkins, like the guy's bleeding. And the dad just like, oh my God, and still eat up and fry. Like, if this is a movie, he's watching. And I'm like, what did they got here? Single married mother syndrome.
Oh my God.
And that's really wow. Uh-oh. Did you? Okay. Our producer has something to say. Guylan Jackson in the house. Guylan, what is it that you want to chime in on?
Thank you for having me on. Don't worry, they'll never see my face. I have a face made for radio. So you said single married mother syndrome. So my question is, in a marriage or in a relationship, at what point do women let the single married mother syndrome go?
Well, again, I think that goes back to support and structured. I don't think that falls just, you just said it right now. Oh my God. Why do you think the woman has to live it? Or why do you think the woman needs to step up or change things or vocalize something? Albert, what do you have to say? Are you feeling the same thing?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, number one, like if you have a man child, you need to tell him off, hey, I'm not going to be picking up your underwear every 5 seconds. Like, do something. And I can't believe this guy at the dinner table with the baby. Like, I mean, no, I think we honestly, like, when it gets to the point where it's like you do have like a man child at home, you know, that's a problem. Okay. Having roles like helping each other out, doing that, that's okay. But the whole single mothers, what is it called? Syndrome?
Yes,
Single married moms. Oh my gosh. Yeah. You got to vocalize and you got to not enable. You have to not enable that behavior. You keep doing it.
That's all I'm saying, is that you shouldn't have to raise the man. He should be a man. Do what men
And that's what I'm
do.
saying. So you got to let them know, like, nope, this is unacceptable. This has gone too far.
Yeah. No, I definitely, I for sure hear that. And I feel like a lot of times in the media or even, comments that are thrown out there is like, oh, she's an independent woman, steer clear, or she's ambitious. We talked about that in previous episodes, how those are like bad words sometimes. Ambitious woman, independent woman. But independence and ambition is not the problem because ambition is a drive. It's I want to accomplish goals. That's not a problem.
No.
The problem is when there's no structure and there's no support, then it leads to exhaustion. And then it also leads to angry woman syndrome, where a person, I've heard so many times where I've seen a woman in this tech situation where they are burnt out, they are running everything, and they don't have the support that they need. And the only comments that I've ever heard towards that person is, oh, she just needs to get laid.
Oh my gosh.
No, she just needs to get some support and we'll hand on that.
Did somebody say get laid?
Yes, that's been said too. And then it's also like, oh, she must be on her period.
Yeah.
It must be our time of the month.
Yes, but I feel like there needs to be some real clarity line there because women that are like even wives that are upset and angry, it's not because they're hormonal and it's not because they're more independent or they're just flexing their independence. It's because they need help. And if you're married and your wife is acting this way and you're not giving them the help or the support that they need, maybe you think you're giving the help and support, but not in the areas that are actually needed for your wife or your girlfriend or your sister or your mom,
Yes. And I mean, they're emotionally and physically just tired and exhausted. But, we as women need to step up to the plate. And like you said, that's why we need to talk about these things because you do need to get those systems in place. You do need to be okay with not doing everything, and going back to what we were talking about earlier, I think one of the other things is like, remember when it used to be a thing, like you need to be working all the time. Like you can't ever show that you have downtime. Like if you did that, that was like frowned upon. And that can't be the case either because we need to think about ourselves as well as women, as mothers. We're parenting, we're doing all of these things. We need to be in good mental health. And that means taking time out for yourself.
No, okay. Have you ever heard of this, what is it? Flamingo, pink flamingos, right? So after a flamingo gets birth, they turn white. Their feathers turn, everything turns white. And it's because of a depletion, right? Okay. And until everything's come back to them, then they turn pink again. And sometimes it takes a very long time for them to turn pink. And it's, interesting because me and my older daughters, my daughter-in-law, my older daughter that has a child as well, we kind of passed this reel around where it's like the flamingo reel, and it's like, are you depleted? Are you pink today or are you white today? Well, that's cute. And so it's like, how can I support you? How can we lift each other up? And I guess that goes also to what we're trying to do here, which is the Baddie Rewrite, is we're trying to rewrite the formula of what's going to give you support, building a community with one another and not competition, but collaboration. and really lifting one another up. Independent is not a bad word. Ambition is not a bad word. And then even, you guys know the Lean In organization? Yes. Lean In organization, they did a survey report of CEO women and top producing performing women. And in this survey, they found out that a lot of career building pathways, so like sponsorships and mentorships, were also being taken off the table because they were noticing that women were not applying for these. So they were like, yeah, since they're not applying for them, we're going to reallocate those funds somewhere else. And then when they really dove into why are they not applying for this, because they found out it was burnout. Yes. A lot of them were not making it past certain years because they were burnt out in their jobs because of situations like no support at home. Yes. Or single moms, or, the husband had a wife at home that could care for the kids if you do extended hours, and the woman didn't have that opportunity. So, yes. So even today, we're experiencing how women are losing opportunities, not because they're not equally as ambitious, but because they're depleted, they are exhausted, and they're not finding those structures that they need at home, and the roles, and also the support.
I think we also just get stuck in things that have like not traumas necessarily, but just those control issues that we have as women that we want because of the way we were raised or because of something that happened to us. We want to have that little ultimate control over something. And it's, not the controlling woman syndrome. Yes. And so we have to really, I think that's something we have to internally look at individually, and then try to make those changes to where we can let that go and actually release that control. And then that can help us get along further.
You know what? The one interesting thing that I learned growing up, I mean, we talked about how I was raised by a man. I was raised by my dad all the way up until I was 8 years old when he got married. And but even I was raised with my grandfather who, took care of me every single day, took the school, picked me up, did everything with me. And really, what I learned from the two of them was structure, was about roles. And I see that a lot in business as well, which is like, I have the capability to do something, that I'm going to run point on that. But if I don't have the capability to run point on that, this person's going to take yes. And what I noticed from my grandfather, my dad, and my grandmother, who she chose to work, my grandfather was retired, so that's why I was with him during the day. And what I learned from them is they had no problems really pushing control if I'm not the person that has the expertise in that area.
Yes. And I think, and going back, so when I was a single mom and I was running for state representative, I was wearing like a million hats. That was really, really tough. But I think that was one of the situations, piggybacking on what you were talking about now, where I did learn like, okay, it's okay. You don't have to be the sole decider on every single thing that is going on, because at that time I was managing a household. I was managing a law firm. I also had a law partner at that time with another firm. I was running a political campaign, which that in of itself is, it's very time consuming, because I would have some days I would have 4 to 5 events in a day, in one day, and I would be managing my household, nobody else there. And I'm living in a town, I don't have parents, or I don't have, right.
Yeah.
And then going to all of these events, and then looking at, which mailer's going out today, where am I speaking at? Do I have my speech prepared? Practicing in front of the mirror late at night, and then getting the kids in bed, getting them ready for school the next morning, doing all of these things. Your time broke. Oh my gosh. I don't even know how I made it. I would get home at like 10 o'clock at night sometimes, and then still have work to do, and then crash, and then get up and do it the next. And this is for like 9 months, that you're going through all of this.
But how long can a woman actually, for in person, right? That's that matter. How long can a person actually do and not become burnt out? And and
it just varies from woman to woman, I'm sure. But just that alone was, and luckily I had one of my best friends as one of my campaign managers. Actually, I had two. And so that I think they were able to talk to me real more than anybody else. Like, you cannot do this yourself. Let us all this, you know? But it's like that little, like, you want everything to be, and the perfectionist, we talked about this
Oh,
too.
my gosh.
That comes into play. But just that aha moment when you can be like, okay, I can relinquish this. I can let somebody else do this. They have their systems. It
Yes.
doesn't need to be my perfect little touch on every single thing.
Mm-hmm.
And things ran a lot smoother.
Yeah, and it's so funny because I remember when me and Jake, we sat down years ago about collaborating, coming together as one, and really bringing my household together and him coming into the picture. And when we sat down and talked about everything, and I remember sharing that scenario with somebody, and they were like, wow, this sounds like a business transaction. And I'm like, well, think about it. I was like, why do people get into so much trouble in relationships? Because they don't sit down and do the things, talk about the things that
Right.
they should be, like as far as roles,
Yes.
responsibilities, and expectations. Like, you fall in love, and it's just like, oh my gosh, we're in love, and then you're rushing into things. Fools rush in, right? That
Yes.
movie, and you're rushing into everything, but then you're finding yourself like now trying to backpedal. Like, okay, we need to put this in place. We need to put that in place. And for me, I've learned those lessons, and it's like.
Yes.
And also being a business development specialist and structural, all that stuff, it's like, why would I not go into this like you're a CEO of a company and you're going to hire somebody that's going to take over your position or, be a lead role in the company? Why would you not sit down and understand what their expertise is, understand what they bring, what value situation, those things
What are the
very important.
expectations of each other?
Yes. Oh no. Dylan, can we get through this episode?
I hear everything that you're saying, but I've heard the word roles several times.
Ooh, okay.
Right? And in the current internet sphere.
Are you looking this up right now?
No, not at all. I will fact check your ass.
Did
though.
you
Are you on the
ChatGPT
Googler?
this?
No, not at all. I'm just very smart. I'm a man.
That's it. He's logical.
Okay, Jimmy.
Inside joke. No, well, that's staying in. The question becomes, what do roles actually look like, right? Because we always hear gender roles. And sometimes that could be washing dishes. It could be cooking. It could be taking out the trash. And I think you're talking about a higher level of roles, right? Like finances, life.
No.
Oh, you are. So you're talking
We're talking about taking out the trash. Like,
okay.
who does that? And, things like that. And also, too, like, how do the parents play off each other? Jake's coming into a situation where I have children. How does he help me manage their emotions and their meltdowns? And even right now, we have teenagers. So they're just like, so 1 minute, everything.
And that's a huge one too, because
Yes.
so is he responsible for parenting?
Yes.
Does
And then
he have that role?
right.
Does he take that on as,
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then what about the brutal honesty, right? I think that's one thing that could keep people together is being brutally honest with each other.
Oh, I love this one. I have a story. So when me and Jake were kind of bringing this all together, I dropped him off at my sister's house and I said, sister, do your worst. Tell him the good, the bad, but mostly the ugly. And I was like, and if he survives this conversation with you, then I think we're good to go. And she did. She like brutally laid it on him. Like, she's a mom of 5 kids. Like, she has 3 kids at home still. Well, at the time I had 4 kids at home still.
Yeah.
And these are the expectations. Like, this is what she's gone through. This is what she will not go through again. And
Are you sure you're signing up for this?
Yes. And a big thing also for me was what I understood through multiple relationships prior was family is a big part of my life. And,
Right.
it's like my kids are a big part of my life. And so like the biggest question is like, oh, well, like in the Bible, it says choose your husband first. And it's like, yikes, but I already have kids. So it's kind of backwards, So it's like all these things that you really have to have these hard conversations because they are reality and they're not like something we can wish away with a bubble bath, and be like, oh, all my worries are gone. Calgon took me away.
We can't?
No. So, those conversations I feel like were very important preliminary. And
Yes.
everything that I could think of that has gone wrong in other past relationships or expectations that I didn't vocalize,
Yes.
that I should have. You know, those things were now available to me because I felt like I was in a more mature place too, you know?
Well, I think what you're touching upon and getting to is that this is about communication. And so going back to our producer's question,
Yes.
the roles, you know, I think that is for each couple
Yes.
to decide on their own, and
Yeah.
whatever they decide is fine. But having
Hey,
that
if you
prior
like washing the dishes, great.
communication, exactly. You know, some people split it up exactly like 50-50. We're going to,
Yeah.
you know, share the roles. I mean, personally, like I enjoy cooking. I enjoy taking on that role and putting a meal on the table for my family. It's something I enjoy do, and it's part of my like downtime.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, it is for me. But
It's relaxing.
It is.
And you know what? That used to be the same for me. But then when I came into my white flamingo feathers, it became something that was just like
A
I was
chore, like
burning
yeah.
every food that I was making, or it was coming out nasty. And my kids are like, what is happening? But thankfully, Jake is like an amazing cook. Like he cooks like really good food. And I was like, and he stepped in, you know, but it was in that moment of that time. It was like for about a year. I was just like, I like cooking. F you. I'm done with this, you know?
And that's okay. And then your partner took that up and got you through that.
Which was amazing because I feel like it goes back to what we're talking about is support, you know? And support doesn't always look the same way in every area. Like that was a part of support that I needed at that moment, and he was able to take that on. But there's other areas of support that maybe he can't take on. Where do I find that support, you know? And so like when I think about familiarity with my kids, sometimes they want to hear from like a relative versus me or versus Jake, you know? And so I have to outsource that support, but it's there and it's available for me, you know?
Yes.
And so like that is something that I personally learned to lean on and relinquish as well, you know?
Yes. Well, let's go into a little baddie confessional.
Oh God, no. I don't know if I'm ready for this, guys. No.
What are some of the things that you don't mind leaning on your partner for, that you like being taken care of?
Yeah. Oh God. You know what? There's so many things I feel like.
And is that okay?
Okay. You know what? Here's the biggest thing. And this is something so small, but it started here for me because it's like what you said. When you are used to having to run everything, it's so hard to let some things go.
Yes.
So even though this started out very small, obviously there's bigger wins now that I get support from and I let go of.
Yes.
But in the beginning, it was dinner. Like, where do you want to go to dinner? What do you want for dinner? And I was like, I don't want to ask. I don't want to
decide.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Just
Yes.
you decide. You take me. I eat everything. Like,
Yes.
let's go. And then it was like the first couple times, well, I just want you to be included in the decision. Where do you want? I make decisions all day long. I don't want to know. I don't care.
Exactly.
And so like that was the beginning for me of like, I guess kind of like testing the waters. Can you master that? And then it was then other things that began, vacations and,
Yes.
you know, just getaways, stuff like that. How about for you?
Well, even just little things like getting my gas. I hate getting gas.
Oh, I haven't done that in years.
So no, that's taken care of. You know, washing the
Absolutely
car.
hate. You know, it's so funny because not too long ago I had to pump gas and I was like literally crashing out on Jake. I was like, I can't believe I'm pumping my own gas. And he's like, oh my gosh, heaven forbid. I mean, I'm joking with him, but it's like, it's been a long time, you know?
But those things are nice.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm trying to think of other things.
How about washing the dishes?
I make my kids do that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a chore for them
Yeah.
that they have to do.
Yeah.
If I'm cooking, they're cleaning.
Yeah,
So that's that.
I love that. What about making the bed?
My kids make their own bed.
No,
and I make
your
mine.
bed.
Oh yes, that's a must.
Yes.
That's I feel more productive. My day goes better.
Yes.
It has to be bed made. Now, it's not a perfectly made bed. I'm not OCD or anything like that. You.
Oh my gosh. Jake was like, he just kind of like made the bed and it looked great, but I was like, it was like,
Don't say anything. Don't say anything.
God. And I was like, oh, thank you. And then I'm over there like fixing it, straightening it. And I'm like the person that's like, you see these seams right here?
my
They're supposed to be
gosh.
right here. And
No.
this pillow, once you put it against it, then you got to slice it in half at the top. And he's like, oh, okay. But he's got it down.
What is
now.
that movie with Jennifer Aniston and oh gosh, with the pillows on the bed and they all had to be a certain way and there's like a
Yes.
million freaking pillows?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's you.
Yeah. And then even my kids will go jump on my bed. I'm like,
No.
don't unwrinkle it. I want to get into a nice, crisp bed at night. So,
Oh no.
God. It was the OCD about the bed. I know
Oh
it.
God, yes.
Oh my God. Go. Tell me.
I think that's one of those interesting things when you come together as partners, right? So he has a way that he's doing stuff. You have a way that you're doing stuff. And then now you're bringing those together. What other clashes are there? And when you get into your nice, perfect bed at the end of the night, do you eat in bed?
Oh God, no.
Okay.
I don't even let my kids eat in their room.
We do. Oh, not kids.
No,
Because they get too messy.
No, not kids.
Yeah.
I will drink in my room, but not like
Yeah.
I drink my hot chocolate. That puts me to sleep.
Okay, so but
In bed.
how do you I know you mentioned communication earlier, but how does that come together? Because you've had your way of living for X amount of years with kids, and then same thing with you, Amber. Like you've had your way, and now you have this partner, and then maybe they have kids. And what are the struggles, and when does each person like, I really don't care about the bed. Let's keep on going, or I'll go pump your gas. You know.
Yeah. I mean, again, I have to say the depletion part, sometimes the support's there, sometimes the depletion sets in. And when depletion sets in, I think you could even kind of consider that like some people might say, oh, I think I'm depressed. It's not, sometimes it isn't depression, it's depletion, you know? And so like there's been moments where I have been in depletion mode and making the bed is just like, I don't give a F, you know? Like
Yeah.
where it's like, I don't give an F. I need to get up and do all of these other things. Like that's the last thing on my mind. But it's like to what you said, getting in a beautifully made bed for me is just my thing. And it just makes me feel better. It's like that warm bubble bath. It just makes me feel good. That's it.
I think it, a lot of time, because going back to the exhaustion thing, and when that's going on, and then with your partner, and then you're just both frustrated, because like in our household, so he's running a 7-figure huge company, so he's leading all day too. And when you have two strong personalities and everybody wants their things done a certain way and things to, be perfect and all this, and you want to kind of go about the day without any like glitches, and then that happens, and then you just, sometimes I lose it,
Yeah,
just
it's like a
over
meltdown.
something. It is. It is.
Because it's not about the bed not being
No,
made.
exactly.
It's about the depletion.
Yes.
It's about the lack of support in a certain area. And to say a lack of support is not like, oh my God, I'm unsupported everywhere.
No.
That's so unfair. It's like I needed the support here in this moment, in this day, and that support wasn't there. So today I'm exhausted because of this area in my life, you know?
And now I'm taking it out on someone else.
Yes.
And so those are the times I feel bad
Yeah.
about it. But when the kitchen cabinets are left open,
Oh,
every single
no.
cabinet when I walk downstairs from my perfectly made bed, I'm not very happy.
I'm like, that is a perk of mine. Like, how do you go into the cabinet, open up the
I
cabinet?
don't get it.
And just not shut it. I'm
Gylan,
like,
how can
open,
we,
shut it.
why?
Oh, shut.
Why does
What?
this happen?
Wait, what? Hold up. Hold on. I didn't hit the buzzer.
Wait, what?
Every-
Gylan,
You
you're
don't
not
ask me
listening to
questions?
us?
No, I am listening to you, but I'm also
Wow.
producing. Oh,
Why
geez.
do you men leave every kitchen cabinet
Why
open?
do you men?
I'm so happy that the toilet seat in my house isn't left
I
open,
can't
though.
speak. One, I can't speak for all men. I can only speak for myself. Toilet seat. Oh man, that's one of those things. Like, but is it left up though?
Not in my household.
No.
No.
And I have two men in my house right now.
Yeah, yeah.
no.
So okay.
And
But
even when I had
cabinets?
3 men, no.
I don't, I guess because, my parents have been married for 53 years, but it was my mom and my dad together. And that's all I remember. Actually, they're a unit. Like I don't look at them as mom and dad. I look at them as parent, right? And so I don't do certain things that other men do because my mother worked so hard in making sure that I was a decent human. I know how to wash. I know how to separate my whites.
I
for
love
the
it.
colors. Now, do I do it is a whole nother story, right? But I know how to do it. So, rarely do I have a shirt that became pink because I washed it with the wrong pair of pants or whatever else like that, right?
Yeah.
I know y'all sitting over there laughing because that's what a lot of men do those things. So,
No, this is really true. Or they don't know how to cook, or they don't know how to just clean up after themselves. And that's one thing even my daughter-in-law has repeatedly told me throughout the years, like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for raising a man. Like he knows how to wash clothes,
Yes.
he knows how to cook,
Yes.
he knows how to do all of that stuff. And it's like, wow, like that's something to thank somebody for,
Yeah, because he can actually be somebody's partner.
Yes.
I think that's the whole thing
Yeah.
about kind of what we're talking about is
Yeah.
no matter what
Are
roles
you
you decide,
raising a husband?
you don't want to be raising a husband. You want a
Yes.
partner in life, somebody who's going to just make those decisions with you and help and aid and support you.
Somebody asked one time, what did they say? Who's your most complicated child? And my friend was like, my mother-in-law's child. Her
Exactly.
husband. Her husband was her most complicated child.
well, I have a quick story.
Yes.
So I had a female roommate at one point, and this was nothing. It was completely platonic.
Okay.
I have to put that in there. But she used to
Completely.
get like deathly, like, well, why did you do this? I would leave knives in the water in the sink. So like we'd have dinner and then there'd be a knife in the sink and she'd put her hand in the water and she would go like wild.
it's cold?
No, because there was
there's
a
a
knife.
knife.
Because there's a knife. Right? And she never cut herself. Like, you didn't cut yourself. What are you complaining? But did you die though? But did you die?
Because
No.
every day is a risk for her
Oh my
hands
goodness.
being
And
sliced.
listen, she has 10 other fingers. She'll survive.
Oh, Lord, he's spoken like a
no.
true man.
Not at all.
Okay, so I guess when we're talking about this topic, it makes me think about we talked about ambition, we talked about independence, and those are not bad words. It's depletion and lack of support, right? And so understanding that point of view, now we look at like a supportive man versus an unsupported or a competing man, And I remember like a few episodes ago, you had asked me like, about competition, right? And I'm like, and I said, I don't compete. I compete more with myself than I
Yes.
do with other people. You're like, come on, no. But really it is that, because it's like, okay, every day is a reset. Where am I going to need the support here? Where am I going to place the roles here? And it's like that juggling act. And how can I achieve more than I did yesterday, learning about all of that stuff, So it's like, when I think about a supporting man versus a man that's competing with you,
Yes.
one thing that strikes to me the biggest, and what I've seen it like with Jake specifically, it was so crazy because, even in the beginning of our relationship, it's like, okay, well, I am a lot. Like, I have a lot going on in my life, not just as a mom, but career-wise, everything that I'm trying to accomplish. And, every step of the way, he was really supportive with it. Like, learned how to do Photoshop and Adobe and all this stuff, like took classes so he could help me do like editing. And I was like, oh, wow, okay. This is what support feels like, instead of a man competing with me and competing for like, my career's bigger than yours.
Right.
And, and what type of man does it take? Somebody that's confident or somebody that just understands roles and support?
Well, I think both. But I think going back to that, even that was on even a basic level. And that's beautiful. But I think because of even like our single mom background, it's like, you're afraid to even take the support. It's like,
Yeah.
what's
the consequences of that?
Exactly. And what happens when that's not there anymore?
Yeah.
Because for 7 years, or like me, you're 6-7 years, you're doing every single thing on your own.
Yeah.
And what's going to happen when you throw that ball to somebody else and then they drop it?
Yeah.
And then you're back to square one. And so it was a process, at least for me. I feel like just letting that go, letting somebody else support me, and really being able to enjoy it,
Not feel like you're going to owe them something.
Yes.
Or something's going to be expected of you because they did that for you. It
Exactly.
wasn't like a transactional effort.
Right. And I think, going on your other question, going back to,
Males that are unsupportive.
yeah, you know, that's really unfortunate. And I think
Yeah.
that does come from a place where they are not confident. They don't like where they're at in life. And because otherwise, why wouldn't they be able to support you and champion you? They're your so-called partner.
It is that, okay, remember we talked about in the last episode, we called him Adam, a guy that
Yes.
was competing with
Yes.
me. And when I look back at it, it's like, I think about the history of even women in that person's life. It's like every woman in that person's life was a stay-at-home mom. So it's like, yeah, I am competition then, I guess, because it's like, why are you even in this role? Like you should be
Yes.
supporting your husband and being at home too, you know? And so like, I get that. And it's just really rewriting
Yes.
rewriting what roles we're supposed to be in and what that looks like. Like, listen, honey, we're here and we're here to stay. We're not going anywhere. My ambition isn't going to go anywhere, and it's not a bad word and it's not a threat to anybody.
Right.
But the problem is that I do need support, and now in this era in my life, I'm not afraid to ask for it, and I know what having that support does for me. It gives me rest. It gives me peace, you know.
Exactly.
And this era of my life is about peace and rest, and also not taking on the things that I know I'm not taking on. Going back to the competition thing, it's so hard to say like, oh, do you compete or do you enjoy competing with others? I don't, because I'm like, you have a capability that I don't, and I'm not going to compete with that, and I'm not going to exhaust myself because I've done that before, and I'm not doing that again. You want to be competing, like you're going to find yourself in a one-person competition, because I'm going to back out.
Have fun.
Bye. I'll be on my cruise sailing away.
But that's good, because that's the emotional intelligence that we're talking about. And
Yeah.
that just takes time, I feel like, at least for me, to have developed to get to that point to accept those things.
But I will invest the energy in collaboration.
Yes.
Oh my God, all day long. I mean, that's what we, Fatten and I, do for a business. All we do are behind the scenes elevating other people's careers, their positions in their businesses,
Yes.
and positioning their business to shine. And we're in the background, you know, that's kind of the role that we've always been. But it's like, I realized for me, I had that support with my dad. I had that support with, you know, my partner, my son. My son's my biggest champion. I remember he told me one time, like, Mom, you just got to do this. And this has to happen. And, you know, and it's like, these guys are here and they're supporting me, and I have to allow that. Otherwise,
And you raised him like that.
yeah,
So
that's true. And I just feel like when you don't let others people support you too, what I found is you're kind of robbing them of that sense of belonging with you, but also the sense of like being capable of expanding who they are, you know? And that really is a robbing of them.
yeah, and that support that they're giving to you, they're going to be getting support back. And so that really fosters the partnership, I think.
So then if you're not taking the support and you're not like accepting it because all these other, you know, really, you know, the rewrite, right? The old blueprint is saying
The
like,
1950s.
yeah, the old blueprint is saying, oh, we can't do that, or I have to do it all on my own. You know, the girl boss movement, I have to do it all on my own. And exhaustion is exalting and it's empowering. But I think when we really peel away from that, you're going to find some refreshing, relaxation, peaceful moments, because you do realize it is about support, it's about structure, and it is about roles. And every company that has survived and became, you know, really amazing, it's because all those elements were in place. And even as a family unit, a family structure, those things still apply because there are so many elements that make a family, you know?
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about something else for a minute.
Oh God, I'm afraid.
Okay, strong women. You know, I feel like it's really a stereotype that we have to be strong all the frickin' time. And why is it that we can't be soft, that we can't be girly, that we can't do those things? Why
Yeah.
does it have to be one or the other?
Well, I think, no, I don't think it has to be one or the other, but I think it definitely goes back into categories. A lot of people, you know, even say that about me, like, how are you able to categorize things without like blending it all together? And it's like, being able to container certain things and like saying like, okay, this is a category, I'm going to put it in that container and it's going to stay in that container. It doesn't bleed over into other containers. And really being able to section off things it has helped me address those things in a way where in this category, I can be soft and I can be, all of these things. At home, I have, been able to be that, but for a long time as a single parent, I had to be the strong person, the disciplinary, the everything. And that role really took a burden on me, I feel like.
Yes.
And I felt like I wasn't being myself for a very long time. And then I would go with friends and I would, my friends would see me in a different light, which is like, oh my God, you're so, like, some of my friends would say, you're so seductive, or you're so beautiful, or you're so this. And then when I'm at home, I feel like so masculine or so like rude or like, you know what I mean? It's like that heaviness, and it's like, how do you get to be all of that all the time,
Exactly. I mean, that's the question. It's you don't want to be that masculine, like the leader all the time. You want to just be able to be at home and be soft with your kids and sharing those moments and not have a care in the world. It's like, sometimes you just want to not have a care in the world.
Well, it's the responsibility.
Yes.
Responsibility is a heavy burden, and when you're the only person responsible, then that's doubly a heavy burden, And I feel like when people hear this podcast and this episode, I hope the one thing that they take away from this is, how am I being heavily burdened and how can I diversify that burden? How can I diversify and find support? And support doesn't always look like a husband or a dad, or a brother. A support can look like your community of friends, like what we're building with Club Conduit. That could be your support system, your outlet, where you're able to share your feelings, your raw feelings. Like,
yeah, sometimes it's just an ear, honestly. And that's what I would do with a lot of my friends, especially when I was first going through my divorce. I needed to stay busy because I was trying to keep my mind off of everything.
Yes.
But my friends would lend me an ear. And sometimes that's really like all you need, is just to get off your chest, be able to talk to someone and not be judged and just have those conversations. Feel like yourself again.
Uh-oh. How does he find? Wait, what
don't know
is
if
a
I like
buzzy
this.
moment for that one? Okay, go ahead. What is it, Gylan?
I just have a buzzer. Like, you all gave me the buzzer. It was just sitting there, and somebody's like, "Oh, that's cute." I'm like, "Okay, I'll buzz."
Oh, this was the buzzard for no reason?
No. There's a reason. There's a reason.
Okay, what is it?
So, quickly, when you all were dating after being divorced, or was it for love, or was it for rest and support?
Ooh, damn. Ow. Oh my God.
Or fun.
No, okay. So I think
That's the 100 date story. That'll come in another episode.
the 100 date story, he did not just say that
my
online,
gosh, here we
like
go.
out loud. No, okay. That's a whole
I don't know
nother
what you're
episode.
talking about.
Not taking accountability for that one. No, just kidding. Okay. I really think that goes back to what I had said earlier, which is a lot like my past relationships, I was figuring things out, right? I didn't understand that I was figuring them out, but then realizing in this relationship now, it was like, this is what I expect. What are your expectations of me? And it was like, oh, well, none other than you do this, this, and that. And there were simple things. And it was just like, no, you need to go back to the drawing board and I need you to give me some real expectations of me. And what does that look like so that I know what I'm jumping into too? I don't want to be hit with a curveball next week or a year from now, And so right now, this is the moment. This preliminary talk is the moment where we're going to kind of like put all that out there. And so it was just like being able to understand that. So I hope that answered your question, kind of.
I don't know. So was it for love or was it for rest?
Okay, so the relationship, yes. So Jacob, I would have to say, at that time, I was, in a very, very good place. It was more of like, the people that I was dating was like, did you pass the character test? Did you pass the test of like, I want to be around you? Not, are you going to financially support me? Are you going to support helping me with my kids? Like, those weren't really anything, like I already had that taken care of at that point, you know? So it was just more of like, I want somebody that I'm going to enjoy being around, somebody that is going to enjoy being around me, and somebody that I'm going to have fun with, and we're going to be in love, you know?
Yes.
And I've never written off love either. I'm like a big in love person.
Well, mine definitely, I was not looking for love. I was just, emotionally drained. I guess I was a little down because I never thought I would be divorced.
Yeah.
And that was a whole thing, just wrapping your head around, that.
Wait, you were one of those that thought you were going to be married forever?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes.
We got to get at least 2 divorces under your belt. Just kidding, guys. Just kidding.
Kind of. No. So, for me, I just needed to not be in a relationship, just deal with what was going on. And for me, it was just more fun and just myself.
Yeah.
And that's really what it was for me.
Yeah.
So,
Fun in yourself.
Yep.
Yeah. I love that. Well, independence and ambition shouldn't be a life sentence. And that's kind of what I feel like this era of women that we've been talking to
Yes.
is like what they feel like, because they've been ambitious, because they've been independent, has kind of been like a noose around their neck as a life sentence.
And it shouldn't be like that. No.
So I think being able to understand you do need support.
Yes.
I'm going to say it very clearly, ladies. It is okay to ask for support. And men, if you're watching this, it is okay to offer support to your woman that acts like she can do everything.
And you will thank us later when you actually do this.
Yeah. So what about the chivalry of a man opening the door for people because a woman, do you still like that?
I do. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I grew up in Oklahoma. I'm a Southern girl.
Yeah.
I think it's a beautiful thing. And I think that I teach my daughters that. And I teach them that.
Yeah.
It's a respect thing as well.
Yes,
So
right?
for younger children to their elders, it's the same thing. If you go to a door, we're going into the grocery store, you better get that door open before the little lady gets there, and you better be holding it for her until she gets in.
I love how you said that it's about teaching the kids too. It really goes back to what you had talked about, like that softness instead of the kind of the hardness, right?
Yes.
And it really, I feel like when a man does that on his own, you're really kind of guiding the woman to allow her to be soft with you,
Yes.
And that's what I see. It's like, oh, like I'm a lady. I gotta.
Yes, and it's okay to let that be.
Yes.
And to feel like that, and the men enjoy doing that as well.
Yeah.
And I think that's nice.
Yeah. No, definitely.
All right, ladies, are you ready for the new segment?
Ready?
Yes.
All right,
Let's
cool.
go.
Let's
So just
get
to let
ready
everybody
to.
know, we're going to amp it up a little bit. We're going to have speedball questions. We're going to get some quick questions and answers so they don't get to think a lot. They can just spit it out. So whatever they say,
think a lot.
I'm not going to edit it. I'm not going to bleep it. It is going to be live on every episode. All right. So we're talking about soft or strong. I want this to be fast, no explaining. Pay the bill or split it?
Split.
Pay the bill.
I'm sorry. Pay the bill. Sorry. What
Pay
was
the
I
bill.
thinking?
So you want your significant other, when you're on a date, your first date, to pay the bill?
Pay the
Yes.
bill.
Okay. Lead the meeting or milt at home. When you're at home, would you rather be in the boardroom or would you be rather milting at home?
Milking at home.
Yeah. Duh,
Milking?
What kind
What
of
is milking?
question
Melting?
is this? Melting at home. Yeah.
Milting at home? Okay.
In the bubble bath.
All right. Would you rather your man have protector energy or provider energy?
Ooh, both.
Both. Yes.
Okay.
Do we have to choose one?
No, I get it. Both is fine. Both
Okay.
is fine. Safe or spoiled?
Both.
Oh. Okay. Jacqueline today, spoiled. Jacqueline 10 years ago, safe.
Amber?
Both. I mean, I don't think I can split them up this day.
Okay, perfect. And last but not
Okay, I'm here with the Andy Vasquez. What do you guys think? She did this. Go see her at Angeline DiCarlo in Southtown, right, Andy?
Yes, I'll be there.
She's the best. Y'all go see her. Bye.